welcome to How to Start a Yo-Yo Club. I'm Dave Adams from Mile High YoYo, and this here is Todd Rollenhagen from Mile High YoYo, also known as Yo-Yo Fox. Todd makes those cool dual-colored strings you might have seen. Also available on our table, right? So what we're going to do today, we're going to spend just a little bit of time talking about the Mile High YoYo Club, how we started, how we got to where we are today. And then we'll just open it up for a little Q&A with everybody. The goal being, if you want to start a yo-yo club in your area, we're going to give you our best information on how we did it. So, and I'll tell you, Mile High Yo-Yo Club started in 2019 as a result of me just wanting to see who was out there in my local yo-yo community. So I rented the clubhouse at my condo building. I started a Facebook page, Mile High YoYo Club. I got some pizzas and I put out the word. I got a bunch of candy, I had yo-yos put out, I was all excited, and 2 people showed up. And so what did I do? I just kept holding the club. And here's the most important message about holding a yo-yo club is consistency. Consistency of time, and consistency of place. So, in the Mile High YoYo Club, we hold our meeting, the first meeting we held, and we held for the last 5 years, is in Littleton, on the second Saturday of every month from noon to 3. And if you structure your date kind of like that, then you don't have to change it. You don't have, people just know, okay, second Saturday of every month, regardless of what day it is, noon to 3, I'm gonna show up. And at the first, it was after my clubhouse, because I couldn't keep paying to rent it, I found a park that was nearby named Ruby Hill Park that had a little gazebo, and we just met at the park. And it was me and another guy for a few months, and then another person would show up. And it just was keeping doing it and not really worrying about who was showing up, but just having fun with other yo-yoers. And I think now's a good time to also say that the reason that Yo-Yo Club is cool in person, it's very similar to music. You can look at a lot of videos for yo-yo tricks, but that in-person experience of trick-to-trick teaching, where you can show those movements, really translates in Yo-Yo Club a lot better. So the problem with the park, and I'm going to engage Todd here because he has a lot of information on what we did. The park, obviously, when it rains or snows, in the wintertime, especially in Colorado, we have issues with not being able to go inside. And you don't want to reschedule at the last moment, because often there's some people that aren't on social media, there's some people that are. Kind of last minute rescheduling is different. So Todd, when he joined the club, lived in a north suburb of Denver and was like, could we start a second club? I think there's enough room for that. And so the 4th Saturday of the month, the Broomfield Yo-Yo Club, Broomfield division of the Mile High Yo-Yo Club was born. And when we started, the important thing was to not conflict with the 2 dates, not hold them on the same day, because many people attend both. You don't want to create competition within your own club. But then why don't you talk about a little bit about the evolution of the Broomfield?
Hi. So when I did the Broomfield meet, I wanted a place that was on the north side, that was closer to where I live, and we actually have a few people that are on the north side of Denver, so I opened that up. I looked around at a few different places, and I found that the Broomfield Library would let us have their space at no cost, which was great. Some of the libraries that charge some kind of fee, I think like $25 at yours, something like that, yeah. But Broomfield was nice enough to actually include us into their programming. So we are I guess, an organization of theirs, like we work with them. They put us on their website and scheduling and everything, but they were really welcoming for us. They moved around the other club that they had. I think it was a D&D group. They moved them so we could have it, but because I wanted to keep with the 4th Saturday, and they were really accommodating. We did, when I started the North meet, it was at a trading card game store. 7. Yeah, that's what it was. And it was outdoors too, so I needed to find an indoor spot with winter approaching, and that's what I found. That's when I found the library. So, but they've been really accommodating for us, and they're sad that we're not here yesterday. But we're all here, so we can't stay there. But yeah, that's how that is, and we're on our schedule on our Facebook is the 4th Saturday, and then their schedule, they put it on their calendar every month for their people. I get a lot of folks that find us through the library's programming. Because I asked all the new people where they heard of us from, and a lot of them say it was from the library, which is great because then it's people that I couldn't reach, and that's always good. My North Club has more new people and smaller kids. South Side has more of us old goobers, but I think that's because it's on the schedule, so people see it, bring their kids in, and that's great. I need to work on some kind of a programming for littles, like a trick ladder or something, but because I'm always there, but like these guys aren't always there, so it's nice to be able to teach. But that's I stumble on things. Like, you want to learn how to walk the dog, and then I just did the yo-yo pulls on the string. I don't know. But yeah, that's kind of my experience with it, is finding that indoor space that works with us, and it's been really helpful.
And one thing I'll say about that too, you will not have the same success at every library. So as Todd alluded, the libraries in my area, some were like, oh, we would charge you for it. Some, actually, the one that was the most viable was like, we have meeting rooms that you can use, but you have to sign up for them 2 weeks in advance. We're not willing to book you as an official event. So what I would encourage you is, if you get one no answer from one library, don't assume all libraries are going to give you that answer. You might stumble upon the library that's going to give you all of the support that Todd found at Broomfield. So Todd tried too. Other areas that we've tried, so other venues that we tried, toy stores. Toy stores are a little difficult because they tend to worry sometimes about foot traffic, or they're worried about if the yo-yos will ding cars. So it helps if you have relationship. So we worked with a toy store where we were able to do it outside on the sidewalk, and then they had a learning center that we were able to work in when it was snowy. But that became problematic, kind of having to shift on snow days to that kind of location that was a block or two away. So with location, look for, community centers. You would think that your local community center would be a good place and they might jump at the opportunity. You might have mixed results there, but any of those places you can think of that would be kind of a center for community that might benefit from people coming to. So even be open to maybe breweries or coffee shops, malls. So don't be afraid. This is like cold calling in sales. Sometimes you have to take a lot of no's to get that perfect yes. But once you get that yes, that'll be your home for years, And then, so again, consistency of time and place is the most important thing you can do with the Yo-Yo Club. The second thing we'll talk a little bit about is identifying your audience and building interest. The way we really do that, Facebook, presence on the Yo-Yo Expert forums. If you're not a member of the Yo-Yo Expert forums, that, in my opinion, is currently one of the best kind of social environments for yo-yoing. There's an active buy-sell trade community. There's active interaction between the community about upcoming brands and events coming on. It's a really healthy, robust, positive community, and so that's a place to put out the word and have information. I'm going to have Todd talk a little bit about the social media aspect of kind of TikTok and Instagram, because he's our Instagram star. Yo-Yo thoughts.
Sorry, before we go on, you mentioned forum. That's a very general term
Oh, yes. So like
Give a
on,
specific place where this forum is.
yeah, so if you go on the Yo-Yo Experts website, they have, if you, on the menu, they have a forums section, which is basically like an internet message board. So you'll see, you can sign up for an account where you'll have a username, and then you'll see various topics of interest that you can chime in on the discussion, start your own topics, share photos, and they're categorized into like yo-yo contests, photos, different videos. So join the Yo-Yo Expert forums. It really is a great online yo-yo community.
Thank you.
Okay, so more about Instagram. Oh, and I will mention that we will have an open Q&A. As we're going to try and keep this boring talking at you to a minimum, so we can have some open Q&A interaction. We've got stickers to give out, so we're going to make it more fun than just talking at you. We'll give about 10 minutes for this rest of the part. But let's talk a little bit about social media, Instagram, and TikTok.
And the meeting, I guess. Thanks, Dave. I'm just the guy that likes to post it again. It's all good. So for the social medias, the Instagram, the Facebook, and the TikToks, I noticed that our club pages don't have as much of a interaction, or how do I say that? Like followers than like our personal ones do. That's probably just the nature of the beast. But so what I typically do is I link everything I do back to the club. So I have I either tag the club page or I have a hashtag Mile High YoYo Club is my one of the copy and paste and I put on everything. And that way it links it back to our club so that people can look at it and then find all the information. Excuse me, sorry. Dave has a website set up, it's milehighyoyo.com, and it just links to our Facebook, so it's not even a website, which is good because then we keep all of our schedule and everything on the Facebook. But yeah, I think that posting online with your club's tag, whatever it is a really great idea because it definitely gives the, I guess, the outreach, and visibility, that's what it is. It gives, people can see that, and like I found the club through another guy, Jacob, who's in our club, and I noticed that he was local, and I asked him, there's a club, and then that's when I found Mile High YoYo Club, was through Jacob, and that was through TikTok. But, so, you know, it just helps people find you, and that's the best part about it. That's all.
No, thanks, Todd. Really good points. And that's important, is finding those yo-yoers that are in your community or talents that are in your community, making sure that you're capitalizing on that engagement. In the Mile High YoYo Club, we have Yo-Yo Box. We have LK Glass, who makes yo-yos out of glass. We have Gates Yo-Yo, John Gates, who's a Yo-Yo Hall of Famer, makes wood yo-yos. And Todd is absolutely correct that those individual pages gain more attention than the Yo-Yo Club page itself. It's more interesting, it's more engaging. And that's partially my fault too, because I'm not as much of a social media beast, but you might not be either. And lean on the younger people in your crew to like hold you up on those internet corners that you're not willing to go to. Like, I am not going to TikTok, sorry, but I get the benefit of TikTok from all of my guys who are on TikTok. So the structure of your meetings, structuring meetings is very simple. We don't really add a lot of anything to it. The one thing I will say about Yo-Yo Club is, similar to many service organizations, your focus should be on yo-yos and only about yo-yos. I know that we have members of our club who are on diametrically opposed positions of the political spectrum. And in an environment where we're a powder keg just ready to go off, Yo-Yo Club is kind of a bastion of kind of peace and community spirit and love, where everybody just gets together around the yo-yo. We don't worry about what our differences are. We worry about how to teach tricks to each other, how to show compassion and care to one another. And And I think the other thing that's very important about a yo-yo club kind of leads into a lesson that I believe myself, is that you should always have a mentor and you should always be a mentor. And Yo-Yo Club provides everyone that opportunity. You can always learn a trick from someone and be in the position of a humble student, and you can always teach a trick to someone and be in the position of a gentle teacher. So I would encourage that spirit in your Yo-Yo Club. So the last thing we'll kind of talk about, yes?
To that point, I just wanted to say that in our club, each of us has a trick that no one else knows, and then everyone else has a trick that I don't know. So I think that's really great because we all, like all of us together, we're like, we know the whole book, but one of us alone, we're missing something. So we all come together and we add those tricks to each other. Because like I'll look at LK and be like, how do you do that trick? And I have no idea how to do it, but then I do something simple and he doesn't know how to do it. So it's kind of cool because then we learn more stuff from each other that way.
Really good point, Todd, thank you. So the last section we'll kind of talk about then is just growing, sustaining the club, and sourcing equipment and materials. And again, the growing and sustaining the club is just being consistent, being there, time and time again. And as a result, Mile High Yo-Yo Club, from starting with nobody and it parks and random, now we have 2 very established clubs. Second Saturday of the month at a coffee shop that one of our members owns that has pinball tables and pool tables that we can be inside, that's linked up to a tattoo shop. Fourth Saturday of the month, noon to 3 in Broomfield at the Broomfield Library. And the point Todd made about your location driving your audience is always also very interesting. Libraries might tend to drive you to more kid traffic. A kind of place next to a tattoo shop may drive you to more traffic that looks like, dudes like us. So be sensitive to that as kind of what group you're targeting. And as a result of all that, this year it's just been a crazy year at Mile High Yo-Yo. Well, first of all, last year the National Yo-Yo League asked us to help find a location for our regionals. We held the Rocky Mountain Regionals in Aurora, Colorado, and we're super proud to do it. It was a great event. This year, we had CU contact us to be part of their CU TEDx series, where they did 9 different TED Talks, and they had 3 different performing arts acts interspace the talks. We were asked to be the second performance art, so the 3 of us went up and did some yo-yo, and then we all performed in the lobby during the second break. The Downtown Denver Partnership, and that was just out of the blue. Somebody knew, it was like, contact Mile High Yo-Yo Club to be a part of that. Downtown Denver Partnership, again, out of the blue, contacted us and wanted us to help kick off the 16th Street Mall, where people were paying $500 for booths. They were paying to rent tents. Downtown Denver Partnership said, we want you to be a part of it however you can. You tell us when you can be involved. You don't have to give us any money. We'll get you a tent. And so we went out on a Saturday and yo-yoed for 5 hours with the public in Denver. And as a result of that, 9 News contacted us and wanted us to come on last week, 2 weeks ago, prior to the Jamboree that we held, which the Jamboree is an event we hold every year in Colorado that is a non-competition event. Performers can sign up to perform a 1 to 3 minute routine in any style, and then we award prizes on the courage to participate rather than judging. So we have no judging, we let everybody perform, and at the end I use a random number generator to assign the prizes. And that has become a really fun event, and that led us here to the National Yo-Yo Contest in Vegas this year. And, oh yeah, tell us a little bit about states too, because that's something that we just, Todd organized, and we hold a state yo-yo contest, and that's not really kind of anything that has, we just do with a lot of the support of ourselves. So talk about that, Todd.
Yeah, and all those, we have recap videos for all that stuff that Dave just talked about. It's on our Facebook if you want to check it out, Mile High YoYo Club. If you wade through all the videos of me, you'll find all those videos. I do a good job of posting all those links, so that's really great. But Colorado States, I ran that last year for the first time since 2018. Chief was there. They set up the Yo-Yo Loco table, which is great. And then I ran that alongside John Gates. He helped me out with that a lot. But I think the actual state contest that comes out of a club is really great. And then it's involvement with the league and everything like that. It's just, and it brings it back because Colorado hasn't had a state contest in since 2018, and it's too long. So I wanted to have that, and it was great. The turnout was awesome. Everybody showed up from Denver and Colorado Springs and Kansas, I think. Yeah, people came from all over to participate in that. Mark Zuno was champion from California, so that was fun. But yeah, it was really good, and I just, it's the opportunity to do something like that is amazing because it's because of club. If we didn't have a club, it wouldn't work because no one would know about it. So it's just all these things come from just being consistent with the club and just having the passion and drive for it, and all this stuff just comes to us. And it's really easy once you start it.
So kind of that's, and the one thing I wanted to have Andre talk as we talked about the sourcing equipment and materials. I know Andre had a little bit to say about Yo-Yo Experts program. Is this a good time to involve you, sir?
Yeah, great. So just a quick note, we've been working really hard on an actual club program, and we have our own toy store in Massachusetts, and we run yo-yo school, yo-yo classes every Friday and Saturday. So we've developed this whole trick curriculum with trick cards, and it's been a really good way to bring kids, from the very beginning to the end. And it's interesting because I think every club follows its own path and has lots of different people from lots of different ages and different things, and so there's lots of approaches to take. And so this is one approach where you can kind of take a trick curriculum approach, which a lot of people feel really comfortable with, and it kind of gives them the street cred as having a program really good for libraries, for example, because you can kind of show up, you have the trick cards. And the other thing we do is we've just kind of launched it's like a club grant program. So if you're just starting out and you're not really sure and you want to get some yo-yos and you want to get the supplies, you can go to yoyoclub.org and fill out the club application and submit that, and we'll start having conversations about how we can help you run a club. So yeah, really excited about it, and it works really well for us. And
we'll just kick to a little Q&A. You can stay up here with us. Yeah. Let's do it the informal way.
Okay, so that's kind of what we had to say about Yo-Yo Club. Again, the recap is, if you hear anything today, hear this. Be consistent with your time and your place. Just be there. Show up all the time. Don't take no for answers. Keep looking for places and find the right place. You build it, they will come. Todd?
I wanted to say to that point, whether or not you're in a major metropolitan area like Denver or in the middle of nowhere, you set it up, start it, and just keep running it. And that's how people find you. I know you guys are in the middle of nowhere, right? Yeah, so just set it up wherever you do, and then just keep running it, because it might just be you for the first couple. But the more you do it, then people find out about it, and then they come out at that point.
Okay, so that's our information. Let's open it up to some Q&A. Jen, I see you. What's up?
Yay! The yoyoclub.org website looks great. The section where it says Start a Club and then Club Starter Pack.
yeah, so
Laura Gibson.
yeah, we're still kind of launching and rolling out that specific part, but if you reach out to Yo-Yo Expert, we kind of have everything together for it, and then we'll be launching that, I think, within the next month. It's kind of been the big thing as we come into the contest season to kind of have that ready as people get inspired. And we have been supplying the packs as kind of just getting them out there and testing things out and stuff like that. And part of the second part is having more of the, not curriculum, but more of a kind of overview of good ideas and ways to keep club interesting while you're running it. Kind of like these guys said too. It's it's important to always show up at the same place and stuff, but we like to also have kind of different ideas depending on who shows up to the club. So if you have a younger audience, sometimes it's good to have, interesting fun mini games and cool ways to keep them, going and focused. So that's part of the whole actual program that will be handed out. So in the meantime, if you get there and you're not really sure, just you can reach out. There's email contacts there, and we'll kind of get you set up. So.
Always sounds good. Just continuing on that, I'm loving what I'm hearing you say about the trip cards. Because I remember when I went to the Yo-Yo Museum on my early career, they did that, and I was able to walk through that right at the counter. And I miss having the sports ladder at events like this, and I feel like that's a really, when you're beginning it, it's nice to kind of get that mini win from each thing and kind of know what's going to build. So thank you for reminding me of how fun and important that is. I'll make sure to get those resources and add that to mine.
Awesome. Yeah, the trick card program for us at the store in particular works amazing because each level is very focused, and level 1, for example, is all responsive tricks. And it's interesting because in the world of modern yo-yo, when people want to jump to bind and DNA right away, but there's so many good fundamentals that come out of the beginner list, and it's also still, no matter what, it's the most approachable way to get a yo-yo into a person's hand and get started. And so we find that level 1, it's all responsive tricks. People can start using a bind return yo-yo for half of them, but there are like the basic kind of like Sidewinder, your high responsive yo-yo, UFO, those tricks are on there. And again, they're just good basic fundamentals. And then the first trick on level 2 is the bind. And it progresses to level 2, and then level 3 that's kind of like how we start a club with level 1, level 2, level 3, because it kind of gives a real good story and a really good overview. And then the last trick on level 3, even though it might not be the hardest trick, but it's the DNA right now. And I think it's kind of like, in a lot of people's minds, it's like, that's when you know you're a real yo-yo player at this point, is when you can do the DNA. Whether or not you agree with that or not, but when kids see that, and it's like the last trick on the list, a lot of times they hit it way before they're done with level 3. But and it makes them feel good, and that's part of the big picture of it all too, is just giving that path and making everybody excited to keep learning. So.
And I will say at the start of a previous iteration of Mile High YoYo Club did have trick cards from AP. This time when we did it, we didn't actually we don't have any kind of trick program as far as Mile High. So I want to say that just to let you know, if you're sitting there feeling any like, oh no, I don't know if I can put together a trick card, you can just have start with just the place and just the consistency, and Yo-Yo Expert will help you with those trick cards. They'll get those out to you. So, yes.
I was wondering, do you do like a raffle every time or anything to like lure some people in, or and then in addition to that, like my son had started a yo-yo club in his junior high, and the teacher, the sponsor, provided yo-yos for the kids. Well, obviously when she couldn't afford to keep doing that because they lost them, broke them, whatever, the club kind of fell apart because parents didn't want to buy a yo-yo. So any tips in that regard, or?
Yeah, so, okay, yeah.
So I would say no, we don't do raffles. We don't kind of do any prize giveaways to incent people. And I think the other thing about a school program that can be challenging is you'll get people who may be joining that aren't really that interested in yo-yo. So that's where you get the kind of lack of respect for the yo-yo, the just swinging it around, the breaking it. It probably is best to have a location that they have to come to yo-yo. They have to be a yo-yoer who wants to learn to yo-yo to come to that place to yo-yo, and that's what's bringing them there.
For the raffle, we don't, like Dave said, we don't do the raffle all the time weekly. One thing that I did around Christmas time was not a white elephant, but a gift exchange with like an under $50 yo-yo. You put it in a bag and everybody switches it, right? So I did that. And we have BST, so buy, sell, trade all the time. Dave's always bringing this stuff. I'm always schlepping my stuff around too. So, and we end up, like, literally, our club ends up owning each other's yo-yos, all of them at some point. We just, like, swap and trade and everything, it's great. But the school, I worked in a school for a long time, and I ran a yo-yo club in school, and I used program budget to buy it, because it was my budget to spend everything. But I know that you guys still do the spin stars. Yeah.
Snapbacks.
Snapbacks. Okay. So Yo-Yo Expert supplies the snapbacks to just responsive yo-yos to get kids started, and that's great because I still have a box of those that I use for Group of the Club because we get littles a lot. So, but I mean, there definitely comes a point when like you got to bring your own yo-yos, but in the beginning you can work with the snapbacks and it's great.
Yes.
So, what if you don't have an adult that knows what the heck they're doing?
Yes.
You're starting the group.
Good
You
question.
just have a bunch of kids.
Yeah. So I would say in that case, you know, the adult doesn't necessarily need to be able to yo-yo, but in that case, you're just kind of making sure it doesn't turn into Lord of the Flies.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Because these kids are really good
Yeah.
about, the one thing that was also really good about Yo-Yo Club is I see it really builds social skills. You know, we have young people teaching older people. You know, I mean, I have 10-year-olds who are like, let me show you this trick, you know? It's like, all right, cool. You know, you can, so I think it's just making sure they have a safe space to teach each other.
Cool.
And you'll just see that kind of mentor-student develop. Yeah,
Well, thanks.
you bet. Any other questions? Okay. Well, hey, thank you guys for your attendance today. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Stick around. I'm going to come down safely off this stage and we'll give you some stickers and spend a little time with you, okay? Thanks again for joining us today. Thanks, Andre, for being a part of it.